Welcome into a brand new edition of Believe in Panthers here on Believe Podcast Network's Tobacco Road Sports Radio's Desmond Johnson in the house with the Panthers' all-time lead and rusher Jonathan Stewart. Your Panthers are now 1-1 on the preseason after falling to the Bills after opening their brand new stadium this past Saturday. Stu, we'll just start there because we're not going to linger a whole lot on that game because there's not a whole lot to really get into. The starters did play on offense in particular. They had 3 3-and-outs, and here right at the top of the broadcast here, courtesy of Panthers.com, Dave Canales with some audio for us to react to regarding the series count, because I have seen people talking about, oh, they should have played longer and we should have seen more, but Canales kind of had a plan in mind when we went into the game.
I also had a 3-series cap in my mind. We didn't earn those extra reps. The first quarter was over. We had 3 series. We went 3 and out 3 times. So we got to do better. We got to move the chains. We got to make sure we have more opportunities for those guys. But the intent of it was get your mind ready. We're going to play football. We had 3 series. We didn't come out with much out of those series, but that was also a part of the plan.
We'll just jump right into it. Stu, your thoughts on what you saw or what you did not see from the Panthers offense in particular on Saturday against the Bills. Temper this for the fans because they're kind of like, I don't know what's going on. What were your thoughts?
I mean, look, it's like this. You had dress rehearsal, right? And you're supposed to dress up. We did that. But you at least supposed to show up on the field, right? and I think our first offense, I think all the starters would say that they didn't do what they came to do, right? And I think collectively as a whole, the offensive line missed an opportunity, right? If you know going into the game, you got to rise to that occasion. If you're a guy that's in depth, meaning you're on the depth chart, you're not a starter, but you get into these games in preseason, you want to make sure that you prove everybody wrong, because going into that game, everybody was looking at the offensive line to see whether or not they are going to be able to protect Bryce Young and keep this running game afloat, right? And they didn't really showcase, what they're capable of. And I think, they have obviously some more time. They have more preseason games, more opportunities. But as you get closer to the season, decisions are being made, okay? And so if I'm one of those guys that is in one of those rooms where there's question marks, I want to be able to alleviate one of those question marks. I want to be one of those guys to write this thing clean. So they got another chance this week coming up against Jacksonville Jaguars. But whenever you're going to this preseason game and you see, the starters on the opposing side of the ball go out there and execute the way they plan to execute offensively, and then your team goes out there and just basically goes and drops a dud, 3 and out. Yeah. You don't earn extra reps like Canales says. Let me see you do your job. Okay? Point blank. This game is not, a game for pacifiers. You got to show up. And I think the offensive line has to meet that challenge from their head coach. It wasn't good enough, right? So how do you bounce back? You have a week ahead of you. You have joint practices. We'll get to that. But, there's opportunities to make this thing right. And hopefully offensive line gets things corrected.
I will say we were missing starters on the offensive line because Robert Hunt didn't play. I think Devin Lloyd didn't play. And those are your 2 main cogs of that offensive line you spent money on 2 off seasons ago to protect Bryce Young. So in a way, I understand Canales' thought process where it doesn't do him or the team any good to leave Bryce Young out there when half of his offensive line is sitting in street clothes on the sideline in a preseason game.
Exactly. Right. But also too though, right? Like this is, we can't continue to leave that as a crutch either. Right.
Yeah.
This, like if we're building a house, if this is a house, can't decorate a house sitting on a cracked foundation. You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Like, are the starters back? The starters aren't out there. Like, we still got to put these guys that are on the depth chart in situations, and this is the time to do it, to where they have to rise above and protect Bryce Young. That's just the way it's going to have to go. Can the backups protect him? We'll see.
Because we're going to need to know more often. I mean, more than likely, they're going to probably get some run during the 17-game season, right? So we do need to know what we have depth-wise, and we have been talking about. We felt like this was a deeper roster than we've had the past 3 or 4 years, and I think a lot of Panther fans are like, maybe this roster isn't as deep as we thought it was, like after these 2 games or whatnot. My only gripe are the ones who are trying to still push Bryce Young out based off of what they've seen, but what they've seen are scripted plays, a set amount of time, compared to, say, Haynes King, who played pretty much 3 quarters, and for half of that game 2 weeks ago, it was like backyard football. Like, he was just literally just making stuff happen against 3rd and 4th string players. I'm willing to bet if you put Bryce Young in this game in the 3rd quarter against the Bills' 3rd and 4th string,
he would be lighting them up.
He look like a Heisman Trophy winner. You know what I mean?
Like, he'll be out there lighting them up.
Boom, boom. We're like, oh my God, where's this Bryce Young?
Look, ladies and gentlemen, there's levels to this thing, okay? All right, look. When you are working if you are an executive for a Fortune 500 company, guess where your parking spot is? It's on the first level, okay?
Right by the door.
Right by the door,
yep.
Okay? Right next to the handicap sign, okay? So there's levels to this. So that's where Bryce Young gets to park at, okay? All right? As you go up in tiers, this is, kind of reverse it, right? But like, there's just levels to it, man. And I'm tired of people labeling Bryce based off of his play when they know doggone well the situation.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're not wrong. Just make sure you're casting your thought process in the right direction. Things got to get better at the offensive line up front, period, point blank.
No.
Okay.
I will say I was disappointed in how he looked against the Bills because it's the Bills, and I think the Bills are probably the best.
But what are you most disappointed about?
I wanted just to see us get a first down, not because it's our fault.
How do you get a first down?
Executing plays, and we couldn't
executing where
at the line of scrimmage, executing the line of scrimmage. But we're playing against one of the best teams in all of football, and they have their starters out there too. And to be honest, I think Buffalo is going to come out of the AFC this year. Like, this seems like this is the year. The one thing that I saw in that game that was kind of Panther related, but not really, was DJ Moore. DJ Moore has finally found a home.
DJ Moore is, boy, he was out there.
Be that dude this year with Josh Allen throwing to him. Like, they carved us up, and that was our first string defense out there too. And they were playing backyard toss and catch, like pretty much all the first quarter.
DJ Moore caught that little route, turned up field, and had about it felt like a whole decade watching him go by as he was running down that field untouched. And then he wanted to wave everybody, hurry up, come on.
Are you talking about the one where he came like across the line of scrimmage and caught it and then went up?
He was over there waving him on. Come on.
Like,
I wish you would. I'm about to pop you.
I'm like, how did y'all lose?
It was a good up and field tackle by Nick Scott.
I'm like, how did y'all lose DJ Moore in coverage 2 feet from the line of scrimmage? Like, literally, he came out and just ran across the line of scrimmage, and somewhere along the way, it wasn't a rub or anything. It's just nobody followed him. And then he just caught it and took off. I'm like, somebody catch that man. We know what he can do. He was here. And now Josh Allen has a number 1 wide receiver, which he hadn't really had.
Yeah, that's going to be
Diggs, I guess. But
that's going to be an issue.
Now I'm sitting and watching it and watching highlights. I'm like, who in the AFC is equipped to deal with this year? Because Kansas City, Mahomes coming off the injury, so you don't know what you're getting there. I think Denver's young. New England's young. Baltimore's going to have a new head coach. Pittsburgh's got a new head coach. Like, it's open right now for Buffalo. Like, this is kind of that window. This is it. Like, they need to get in there now and do it now. They got the defense for it. They got the offense for it. And you got an MVP at quarterback. So for me, I wanted to gauge us against the best, like that's what I wanted. And to go 3 and out. So I was like, all right.
Yeah.
All right then.
It was kind of like, a copy and paste from last year when we played the Buffalo Bills at home.
Ooh, that was our worst game too.
That was a game where we realized there's levels to this.
Yes.
Okay. But I think one of the things that I did enjoy watching was our guy Jaylen Phillips.
Ooh,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
let's talk about the positives here. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the positives because we got a pass rush, ladies and gentlemen. And Princeley looked good as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you bring a guy in like Jaylen Phillips, when you're trying to get better at something, you bring someone in to enhance that position and your whole process of how you want to get to the quarterback. You bring him in, right? And then you bring my man Devin Lloyd.
Mm-hmm.
You bring Devin Lloyd in. Both of those guys made an impact on the game.
Yeah, they did.
Like a legit impact, right? So we get tackle for loss, we get a sack, we get a pressure on the quarterback, make him throw the ball away. I mean, these are things that we missed last year, especially in the red zone. You get in the red zone, bend, don't break. I will say the one thing that we still have to work on in the trenches is figuring out how to stop the run. I know the Buffalo Bills run that toss zone play where it gets the defense flowing, and then they wash everybody out with the offensive line, and then the running back kind of finds their lane within the box, and it's a hard play to stop.
And Cook is really good. Like, he's perfect in that scheme.
Really good.
Mm-hmm. Very patient.
In that scheme.
Yep.
But you got to be able to be there. You got to be able to stop him, right? You got to make that offensive coordinator, go through some other plays. At least, you know what I'm saying? Stop him once, stop him twice, make him, revert to something else that won't work. So I don't know. I just think that there's still obviously some work to be done in stopping the run. Obviously, Derek Brown wasn't out there, but we can't say to ourselves, oh, when our starters get back, we'll be good.
Right.
No.
And that's what I want us to.
We can't live in that world.
Yeah, I want us to avoid that because we need our second string guys. We need our bench players to be playing as if they could be a starter next week if something goes down, which is the way it always happens. So I don't want to use that excuse of, well, it's the Bills, because I don't want to do that because we want to be where the Bills are, and we should.
Yeah, we want to be exactly
like
where
them.
They are.
Yeah, and there's no way. I was telling a friend, I was like, everyone's not picking Carolina to do this and that or whatever. I'm like, nobody ever picks Carolina to do anything. Like, usually we have to just do it, and then they come on board as we're doing whatever it is in that season. But rarely are we mentioned in this part of the preseason as a team to watch or something like that, no matter what year it is. So on that aspect, the expectations are low for the Panthers, lower than even I expected them to be coming into this season after winning the division. But again, they did win the division under 500 with their record at 8-9. So whoever emerges from this division, I do think it will be Carolina in the end. I don't know why everybody's so hot on the Saints all of a sudden. Like, they're like the cute pick, like in this division. I guess the way they finished last year, but I don't. I
mean, they got Achan.
Yeah,
and they got that boy. They got that man.
I mean,
they got that man back there.
I just feel like we have more. Like, I feel like the Falcons are more of a threat to win the South than the Saints are, if they get the quarterback situation straightened out. But I did want to ask you this before we move off this preseason game because again, we will be a little short today, but we'll be back again next week after they play Jacksonville. They play Jacksonville Friday night, I believe. Check your local affiliates for the Panthers television broadcast. Here in the Triad, I believe it's usually on WFMY News 2, so you can watch it there. And, of course, the Panthers radio broadcast. Are you on the radio broadcast this week?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can catch Stu and the fellas, Jim Zoki and everyone, Anish, Shroff and everybody on the radio broadcast on Friday night. I believe 7 o'clock is the kickoff time. I was thinking about it, watching that, because I actually went to a family reunion on Saturday, so I didn't watch this game in its entirety. I got back home. And on Sunday, I actually watched the NFL puts the little highlight package on YouTube for each game or whatever, and you can go in and kind of watch it in 15 minutes. I put that on, and my first clue that something went horribly wrong in this game, the first 5 to 6 minutes of highlights, there was no Panthers offensive plays at all. Literally, there was nothing they showed.
We didn't have any explosive plays until the end of the game.
At the end of the game, they showed the touchdown and everything else, but I was like, yo, how come every time they show us getting the ball kicked to us, and Jimmy Hornsmile run it up about 20 yards, good thing. Then it's all of a sudden the Bills offense. I was like, wait a minute, what happened? Like, where is my Panther offense? And that's when I was like, oh, okay, that's what happened. 3 and outs, couldn't get it moving. I say all that because preseason is not the regular season. I've never once has anything happened in preseason that reflected the regular season. Remember when Baltimore had that streak a couple years ago with Lamar Jackson?
Yeah.
They hadn't lost a preseason game in 4 years or something nuts. Have they been to the Super Bowl?
No.
No. Have they won the division every year? They do that? No. Like,
No.
it has no reflection. I feel like people put too much weight on preseason. I wanted to ask you, as a former player, how much weight do former players put on preseason? I know it's a time to get your body right and get mentally ready for September, but I feel like if you're going into the game knowing the game doesn't count, are you still putting in 110% in the game as you would as an athlete?
Oh, yeah.
You are. Okay. So
yeah, you are.
walk me through
And
this.
I mean,
as
obviously,
as
like
an athlete.
there's levels to that, right? Like the regular season, I remember my rookie year, my rookie year, every game, I got my helmet on, my pads, I practice, warm up, get out there, game day. I'm 110%, right? Preseason, regular season. And then I experienced playoffs. I was still 110%, but there's one thing I realized, right? Everyone's 110% just goes through the roof. Okay? Because just like the magnitude of what's at stake just goes higher, right? And in preseason, you're not getting every single snap, right? So your exertion throughout the game isn't the same. You know what I'm saying? So I would say when guys go into a preseason game, you're thinking about how am I executing, right? How am I protecting the pocket for Bryce, right? How can we get this first drive and get a couple first downs, get ourselves in rhythm, pick up a couple third downs, work on our 4th and 1, our short yardage, get into a goal line situation, get into a red zone. Like it's all about filling real-time game situations. That's what you hope for if you're a starter, if you're an offensive coordinator wanting to get yourself opportunities to call situational plays. That's really what you want. And to get an opportunity to execute, right? The Buffalo Bills did that multiple times. They got a chance to start on their own yard, on their side of the field, and march right on down into the red zone and figure out how to score. So that's what you want to accomplish. Now, the win and the loss category, technically there's no wins or losses in preseason. The only thing that you figure out in preseason is who you are as a team. How do you act, right? How do you respond to adversity? How do you respond when you do get a 3 and out? Are you going to have two 3 and outs, 1 3 and out, or 3 3 and outs? And so for Carolina Panthers on offense, on the starting side of the ball, starting offensive line, backup offensive line or not, how do you respond? And when we need you, will you be capable of performing at an elite level? Okay? At the highest level. And so that's what these preseason games are all about, in my opinion.
I still feel good about like our skill position players on offense. I like the makeup of the roster, what we got, offense and defense. Yeah. Now I'm sitting there talking about it. And once
we just didn't get a chance to see them in action.
We didn't see them long enough. And sometimes Carolina, sometimes we start off slow in the regular season in terms of the game.
I can tell you this. I'm not concerned.
I'm not concerned.
You know who and you know what? I saw Jonathan Brooks. I saw enough.
Just him getting hit and getting
people will say, I want to see more. I saw enough.
Yeah.
I saw him catch a ball out of the backfield. I saw him move, going to the right side of the field, which means he's got to plant off his right foot, right leg. That's good. Good to me.
Thinking about it. Yep.
He had a run 6 yards. Was it 6 yards or 9 yards? I can't remember, but he had a nice run in between the tackles, shedding some tackles. Getting his knees up and breaking tackles, moving forward, following forward with the ball in his hand. That's all I need to see.
I feel like the league's forgotten that we drafted Jonathan Brooks, or that they've just forgotten
Jonathan
Jonathan Brooks. You know,
look, last year we were talking about Chuba and Rico Dowdle.
Yep.
This year we're gonna be talking about Chuba and Jonathan Brooks.
And I think it might be a better combination. Like, to be honest, like I think Brooks is a better running back than Rico is in terms of his ceiling.
He's got a natural feel to him.
Yeah. And we haven't had that in the backfield really since you guys were back there and CMC. So I mean, it's
some folks in the organization, man, they relate him to Emmitt Smith.
Ooh, that's an interesting comp because Emmitt Emmett might be he is one of my favorite running backs of all time. Again, I was a Cowboys fan before we got the Panthers, so I was early 90s triplets. That was my people. That was my squad. And Emmett was probably one of the most patient running backs. Like of course, he was running behind the Great Wall of Dallas. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
But people think that was a bunch, like 5 first-rounders on that offensive line. No, it was like pickups and late rounders.
Emmitt Smith was making them right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, he was just
you get a patient running back,
boom.
he will make you right.
And it helped having that fullback too.
And I think that's what Jonathan Brooks is going to be able to accommodate for this offensive unit is guy that's going to be back there, patient, and be able to hit that thing 100 miles per hour when it open up.
And now we got the 1-2 punch instead of it being just one guy like through most of the game that the defense can key on. I'm excited about that. I feel like the national media's forgotten about Jonathan Brooks, and maybe for good reason because they haven't really played in like 2 years. So I understand that, but I think they're going to be reminded of him fairly quickly. The FanDuel, you can go to FanDuel, and I should have mentioned this earlier. Again, I believe the odds for the Panthers to win the Super Bowl this year are still like at plus 8,000 or something like that. So
yeah, take it.
Yeah,
put $10 on.
Put $10 on it and just see what happens.
And then when it happens, you'd be like, "I told you."
Hey, I knew way back in August.
Man, you only bet $10 though.
Go to sportsbook.fanduel.com to make your bets there. You can also bet on who will win the NFC South and a lot of other different prop bets. If you're crazy enough to bet on a preseason game, they got that there too. But I can never understand the logic of betting on preseason because you don't really know. That's
Unless
just for
live betting.
That's just people that just got to bet on something. Like which way is the wind gonna blow on Wednesday? I'm betting $50.
If you're doing all of that, they got a hotline.
There's a hotline to help y'all if y'all are doing that. The big news really, and it kind of came from the tail end of last week. Did not play on Saturday. Is at practice this week. The Carolina Panthers signed veteran Pro Bowl tight end Darren Waller to a 1-year contract. He was with mine. We saw him last year previously on Carolina Panthers. We played the Dolphins last year, and Darren Waller terrorized us in the first half. I didn't realize he was actually retired. So he was a former Pro Bowler in 2020. He played for the Ravens, the Raiders, the Giants, and the Dolphins. He had a brief retirement, came back to play last year in Miami, played 9 games, had 24 catches for 283 yards and 6 touchdowns. So adding him to this mix, he's 34, I believe. Thoughts on bringing him to kind of a crowded wide receiver, tight end room now. When you got Waller, you've got Mitchell Evans, you've got Jatavion Sanders, you've got Tommy Tremble. I feel like I'm missing one more. It feels like they got a bunch of
Mitch Evans. Did you say
Mitchell Evans? Yeah, Evans, Sanders, Tremble.
Yeah.
Now Waller. That's 4 right there. It's almost like there's somebody else. I think they drafted another tight end this past year. I can't remember, but they got like 4 or 5 tight ends. Thoughts on adding Waller to this offense? And when I first heard it, I was like, I don't know, because I kind of liked Tremble and Sanders and seeing their development. You bring Waller in on a 1-year deal, I assume he's going to be playing. But he does bring a little bit something that the other tight ends don't. What do you think about this Waller signing?
Darren Waller, I saw him December 6th, 2020. Okay, he was playing for the Las Vegas Raiders. Okay, and this man went off 13 receptions, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns against the New York Jets. Okay, and then he followed up December 17th, 2020 against the Los Angeles Chargers. 150 yards receiving, 9 receptions, 1 touchdown. And he was accommodated by the backup quarterback at the time, Marcus Mariota. Go Ducks. But this is the guy that we're getting, okay? That's how I visualize who Darren Waller is and can be given the opportunity. He retired. He was going through some things.
2024.
When he was in New York, when he was playing for the New York Giants. Yeah. And he said, I don't want to play anymore, right? Then he said, nope, I do want to play. And so last year, this time, is when he picked up a helmet and cleats, okay? He started training in the summer last year to get back into the league, and that's when Miami picked him up. This man been training all year, okay? He's been training all year. Now, he's older. So obviously he's got to make sure he proves that he can stay healthy and all those things and all that. But a Darren Waller that has been training all offseason and has been presenting himself ready and available and wanting to play football, I think we just picked up something that could be pretty special. I don't know.
Canales kind of said the same thing. Like, they're not losing
and as far as the room goes, it's a competition now. For the passing who's going to be the passing tight end? Who's going to be the guy that's going to be the red zone guy that Bryce Young can throw to?
I was just looking at the tight ends room. So Waller's going to join a tight ends room fronted by Tommy Trimble's actually the veteran. He's been on this team for 6 seasons. It's kind of, I didn't realize that. So I guess he came in during Matt Rule. So Tommy Trimble, the unit also will have 2025 5th-round pick Mitchell Evans, who came from Notre Dame. 2024 4th-round Jatavion Sanders, who's had some ankle injuries, as well as veterans James Mitchell and Felipe Franks. Excuse me. Sanders,
and then also too, Mitchell Evans did have a ankle sprain earlier in the training camp, so I'm not really sure what his status is. So that's another thing, right? We got to have guys ready to play, right? So if you have injuries that guys go down or kind of hobbling their way back earlier into the season, I think the coaching staff and upper management's mindset has to be, we got to be ready to go full throttle because we have a division game week 2. We got a division game week 2.
They kept 4 tight ends last year. They kept Sanders, Evans, Trimble, and Mitchell in 2025. I could see it being Sanders, Evans, Trimble, and Waller. And as a tight end, and that ain't a bad tight. That's a pretty good tight end room, actually. And something else I wanted them to do, and you were on this team when they were running it. I want to go back to the 2 tight end sets that we were running when we had like Olsen and Jeremy Shockey.
And Jeremy Shockey.
It was like Cam's rookie
Dixon.
year. Yeah, it was like Cam's rookie year and his second year. They were running that 2 tight end thing, and they've got the guys to do it. Can you imagine like a lineup of Bryce under center? You got Tommy Tribble. You got Darren Waller on the ends of your line. You got Ted McMillan over here. You got Coker over there. And you got Jonathan Brooks beside Young and shotgun. Like, that sounds like a fun time.
And we're going to run the ball and throw it on the behind.
That sounds like a fun time to me. So, like, I'm sitting there looking at it. I'm like, okay, I've warmed up to the Darren Waller thing. And I was talking to my guy that I do radio with, Will Dalton. He was like, he thinks he's going to start. And I was like, I don't know. He's 34, blah, blah, blah. Actually, I think he is going to start. He probably will be the starter if everything you're saying about him training, comes true. And he's as good as he was last year. I didn't realize he was retired when we saw him in Miami. Because
all it does, man, it makes the room better. Say we go in with all our tight ends, like it's not saying guys are going to get cut. It just means that the room just got better. Yeah, right. You got a vet in there that's done it. That's been a legit receiving threat in the NFL. Like he has things to show a Jatavion Sanders, right? And this week is a big week for those guys in that room to showcase, hey, we talk about joint practices. I think you get way more out of joint practices than you do preseason games.
Let's go.
Right?
Yeah, let's go to that because we're
in here. You basically show up to a preseason game. And that's like a formal function. Everybody's on their best behavior, right? Everyone's going to the, hey, we going to church with grandmama. All right. So everybody act right. Right. And then you go to the cookout after church. And that's when everybody start cutting up. Yeah. Okay. That is what we call joint practice at training camp. We have everybody cutting up during the week. You might see some fights. But you're going to see some red zone. You're going to see some thud. You're going to see some guys getting knocked out of bounds when they thinking that they just running free. And, it's going to be a lot of emotion. There's going to be a lot of people ready to hit, wanting to just get to the game, but they have to be sitting there looking at another jersey all week, okay?
It's at Jacksonville, isn't it, the game?
It's at Jacksonville. It's going to be hot.
Yes, it's going to be swamp hot.
And it's been hot here.
That's what I saw.
Charlotte.
I saw Joe.
It was 100 degrees the other day.
Yeah, I saw Joe Person reporting that they were in full pads like yesterday, and they were like, "We already planned on being on full pads today." But Person was like, "It don't hurt that they're going to Jacksonville Friday, and they need to, equate to the heat because even at 7 o'clock, it's going to be hot, hot. So I get it.
But look, you're going to get about 40 live reps in a preseason game. You're about to get 15 vanilla plays behind backups. Okay.
Yep.
Like this week, the starters versus starters, you're going to get red zone, third down, 40 live reps. Strap up. Let's get it.
And I agree with you because that's going to be really from following high school stuff up here when they do the scrimmages, like preseason, that's kind of their preseason when they come do these jamborees or whatever. That's when you kind of see what your team is compared to everyone else before the live bullets start flying. Because preseason has always been weird to me because the NFL is the only sport that really does this other than the NBA, where it's just like these is really a revenue grab to me. Like, because really we could start just like college football, in my opinion. We could just start September and just go. But the owners want that money, like for them 3 games or whatever. And when we go to 18 games, it'll be 2 games. So.
It's also to an opportunity for these younger guys, to make a team to get a good product once the regular season starts.
I've always looked at for the bad teams. There's a lot of open slots for young guys, but for teams like us, I feel like preseason is for like the last 6-7 slots. Like we kind of know what our roster is at this point. But 3 years ago,
it's also for you to show up on week 1 and not have a bad product out there.
Yeah, and make it through.
I'm just gonna be honest. Like if a whole offensive unit just shows up week 1, starters, without no game reps, no nothing. I mean, it can be a crap show.
Actually, now that you say that out loud, the first week of college football is usually really yucky. Like it's not
boo-boo.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's boo-boo.
Hey, shout out to your Oregon Ducks because I saw the preseason poll came out and they're number 2, I believe, behind Ohio State.
Number 2. Yeah, they're number 2. Yeah, well, yeah, we're gonna
Big Ten, man. Big Ten doing stuff.
Big Ten out here doing things. We're running things.
Lord, it's like the Big Ten. I know they're talking about the Big Ten and the SEC are going to break off and make some super conference. I'm like, they kind of already have. They're playing each other.
Yeah, they just haven't said it out loud.
Yeah, they ain't made it official, but we all
just got to go ahead and get the structure going.
Meanwhile, I'm over in ACC country, like having to put all my hopes on Miami because I don't think anybody else in the ACC is going to do it. I can't even talk about Tar Heels. Like we're waiting on the axe to fall here because we
can't. Is
Bill
Bill still coaching over there?
Yeah, sort of. They're getting in trouble for like. I can't understand this. In today's world where you can pay a player to come to your school, Carolina is getting in trouble for doing it wrong. Like they've been doing it wrong. Like, how are y'all messing this up? Like you can walk through the front door now and y'all are still messing this up. Bill's going to be 75.
You seen Dabo over there saying like, this is the last year we dealing with any of this.
Yeah.
So, ain't dealing with none of this. Y'all want to come here? You better come correct.
So it's crazy. So Clemson's falling back because they're not really using the portal. Carolina's not going to be. They won 4 games last year. I don't even know if they're going to make it to 4 games this year because their schedule is way harder. So anyway, we got to get out of here. But Panthers Jaguars. It is 7:30 kickoff on Friday, August 21st. It's in Jacksonville. I know there's some weather supposed to come through on Friday because I'm having some of my high school games getting moved to Thursday already. But this is down in Jacksonville. It should be underneath whatever's going to come through here. So I don't expect any delays for any of that. Again, it's a preseason game, so you should be able to watch it on a local affiliate if you're in the state of North Carolina. I did see that ESPN has acquired NFL Network, or NFL bought a piece of ESPN, and ESPN acquired NFL Network. So if you have ESPN Unlimited, you have NFL Network now. It's in there, baked in there. You got to go and look for it. But they did replay the Panthers-Bills game. It was at midnight on Sunday, but they did replay it. They don't keep them in there though, so I didn't get a chance to watch the whole thing. But you can watch it that way. If you didn't watch the initial showing, they'll probably show it the next night. But just get in there and watch it live.
And this is what you need to be looking for, Panther fans.
Yeah, give me a key to the preseason game 3.
The offensive line. We need to make sure we have a good foundation. As far as quarterback play, we want a healthy pocket. Right, we want to be in some couple third down situation and convert them. Right, we need at least one drive with rhythm. Okay, offensive line is a huge part of that. For the receivers, right, want to see them get some action. Want to see them catch a ball and break a tackle, get some yards after catch. T Mac is our number 1 guy. You got Coker, Brazel's not out there. who's going to step up and be that guy? Leggett, third year. We're going to take that jump. I believe he's ready to do that. After that, we got Jimmy Horn Jr. I like him. Mechie, I like him. There's a couple other younger guys that have been showing up in preseason. We'll see whether or not they consistent with it. Because if they're consistent with it, then it's like, wait, this might be a battle we need to watch out for. On the defensive side, we need to be able to stop the run. We need that interior to be nice and steady, right? Need to be strong in the middle of the trenches. Need our linebackers, Trevin Wallace, Claude and Sherless. That's a battle. Yeah. It's no knowledge.
Wallace, you in danger. Like you need to.
Who's gonna be the guy sitting next to Devin Lloyd, right? Who's gonna be the guy, right? And I love the battle. These two guys obviously play with a lot of heart. They play with a lot of determination. And I think, Trevin Wallace finally has a year where he's going to be able to, go out there with confidence and perform. And Claude Sherless, he's been doing this.
The only thing, I'm with you. I just want to see some rhythm, especially on offense, because the defense is usually ahead of the offense at this time of the season anyway. So I'm not too concerned about the defense. The offense, I want to see, and it's kind of a weird ask because I know they're not going to really show much. But in this game, this is going to be the game where we probably see the starters the most because I don't even think we're going to see them next week. This will probably be it for the starters for the preseason. So a half, let them run a half of football and just get in a rhythm. Yeah. Because the one thing we've learned with Bryce Young underneath center, sometimes, most of the time, they don't come out hot first quarter. Like they're not just – sometimes they do, but for the most part, they kind of got to see what the defense is doing, a couple of reps or whatnot before they kind of hit on the things they know are going to work. They don't necessarily. Now that could change this year, and I hope it does because I don't like.
I hope it does too. I hope they come out swinging just like Buffalo did to us.
But that might be what's happening.
You don't matter what you do.
Yeah, look what we do. This is we're going to dictate this, and that's what I want.
We running the show,
and
I'm the captain
now. Jacksonville is not the Buffalo Bills. I want to put that out there too. Like I do want to see the defense.
They acted like it was last year. First game of the season.
Yeah, we did play
that tight end running all over the place.
Yeah, that wasn't a good time. But we should be better off. I just want to talk some Panther fans off the ledge. It's week 2 preseason. Like,
yeah, relax.
Stop talking about we need to draft a quarterback and this and that. Just stop it. We're not doing that. we're gonna stay the course. We said Dan Morgan cooked. Let's see what it tastes like. Like we're not gonna really know until we get to September. So everybody just relax, calm down.
Yeah, Dan Morgan from Florida, so he seasoned his food.
I bet he does. Probably hot stuff. He probably like spicy stuff. I'd imagine. He seemed like the type that puts like gator sauce on like everything, like eggs, just everything. We're gonna get out of here. We'll be back next week. We'll talk about this Jacksonville game, any other transactions and stuff that happens between now and then, and we'll get you ready for that final preseason game next week. I didn't see who it was. I just had it up. It's who is it? It's it's the Texans. We played the Texans. I assume that's a home game. We haven't had a home preseason game yet, have we?
No. I believe that is an away.
Really?
Game.
Did we not have any home games?
We got the last game of the season as a home game
of the preseason.
Yeah,
that's the Texans. It's Friday, August 28th at 7 p.m.
It's a home game.
I imagine so. Like I said, we haven't been at home all preseason.
No, Panthers.
It's at Bank of America Stadium.
It's at Bank of America Stadium. Right.
Now that's next week.
And
this week the Jags. That game is at Everbank Stadium in Jacksonville. So again, check your local listings. You should be able to catch the game there. Shout out before we go. I was actually sitting in this arcade / bar up the street from my house called Game On. We're doing a coach's show there tonight for my alma mater for Easterside football. And I was sitting there with my wife. We were trying to figure out logistics, and these two guys came in and they kept staring at me. And I stared at one of them. I was trying to place who he was, and then finally one of them came over and like, "Hey, are you Desmond?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Do you do a podcast with Jonathan Stewart on the Panthers?" Like, "Yes, I do." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, we're from they're from the Roaring Riot."
Okay,
yeah, they have a chapter.
Shout out to Roaring Riot.
Yeah, it was actually the one dude was actually. Have you ever met the Mad Catter? The dude that comes dressed up in all the stuff for the home game? That was him. So he lives in this area. So they were scouting the venue to see if they could do something on away games up there for the Roaring Riot in this chapter up here. And I was like, if you do something like that, I'll see what Stu's doing, see if he wants to come up here. We'll do a live Believe in Panthers like from here or something if we can make that happen. But I know you got radio and other stuff going on. So,
Yeah.
but it made them happy. They're like, "Ooh, yeah, that'd be great." So like I gave them a little,
Yeah.
So
maybe Believe in Panthers and Roaring Riot
something we'll put something
can
together.
link up this year and do something.
Because I already knew they existed, and I didn't realize they had grown as much as they had. And but shout out to them because they wanted to come over and say hello, and they saw that I was sitting there, and they wanted to tell us that they were fans of the pod and everything. So shout out to you guys, and thanks for spreading the word about Believe in Panthers also. And they did ask, we will be doing the live recaps again once regular season starts in September. We'll be live after each game on Sunday and give you our thoughts there, and then we'll be back on our regular schedule midweek for your previews. So we're going to go ahead and get out of here. We will see you guys next week. Again, go to sportsbook.fanduel.com to get those bets in regarding the Panthers while you can get them now before this train takes off. For Jonathan Stewart, this is Desmond Johnson. You've been watching and listening to Believe in Panthers podcast here on Believe Podcast Networks. Keep on it.